Hey, thanks for tuning into this week's Horror Debate. I'm Jeff Rowdy J. Kier, and with me is Michael Mandy.
And this week we're going to be reviewing 1974's Black Christmas, starring John Saxon and Margot Kidder. Before she did Superman.
Yeah.
All right. This film is.
What'd you think, Mike?
Well, you know, people have been going nuts over this film lately, mostly because of the remake. But I mean, it's a very underrated film. It came out on VHS a long time ago when I saw it, and you got to remember this film. Once again, this is one of those historical perspective type of films that. This came out before Halloween. It came out before Friday. I mean, the scariest thing you ever saw was Rosemary's Baby. So, you know,
and this didn't change that.
Oh, this this gave you the point of view of the killer.
For about 30 seconds.
Yeah, it gave you a lot of point of view shots. But unfortunately, like a lot of the films of the time, it took a long time to get started.
It took a long time to get started.
Despite the fact you had a dead body in the attic the whole
movie.
The
movie's over, right? I mean, we just watched it, and I'm still waiting for it to start.
Oh.
No. No. It really wasn't that bad. There were some highlights to it. Why don't you lay out the plot for us real quick?
Well, the plot of the film is it's Christmas time at a sorority. A bunch of girls are there by themselves with their house mother, and something or someone is living in the house with them, and they don't know about it, and is making obscene phone calls to them and freaking them out, and then...
Were those obscene, though? I couldn't make out what that
was
being said.
I want to lick your, and I want to kiss your.
Was, I guess, but I mean, after a while, it was just...
Did you check the baby?
What the heck was that? You know,
because he was
like
freaky.
R2-D2 or what?
He was freaked out. He was a mental
case.
The
guy was a trip.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I had a hard time getting into this movie. I think I made more jokes in the first half hour of this movie than in any previous one that we reviewed at this point.
Well, they were working really hard on the characterization, but
you know,
it really didn't give you too much of it.
Here's the problem. If you're going to work that hard on characterization to where, number one, your audience falls asleep, and number two, they still don't care about the characters after they put all that work in, you done something wrong, folks.
Well, at least they gave you enough characterization to identify who was who. And, you know which one. They all didn't look the same. They all didn't act the same. They all didn't sound the same. They gave you a little bit of characterization. Okay, Margot Kidder's the drunk, the pervert.
Really? I would have never guessed that.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
And, then you've got the nice girl, the one with the glasses and the big afro. And then you've got the other girl, the one who has the baby, but she's having boyfriend problems now and doesn't know if she wants to keep it or not. And then you've got John Saxon, who adds a load of credibility to this film.
Well, and John Saxon, he is definitely a credible name in the movie, no doubt about it. But not only the mighty Saxon could save this film.
Well, he needed Bruce Lee to come help him out.
I knew I had seen him many times before, and you mentioned that during the movie, and I went, "Oh yeah, that's what that is." My biggest problem with this movie is the extraordinarily slow build. It lost me within 20 minutes to turn the darn thing on, which is a shame, because towards the end, actually, you kind of, it all kind of wraps up.
And it did pick up. It did have a really good action scene when she walks in and you see the eyes creeping at her from behind the door, and then the whole chase scene and the hair grabbing, and it gave you something. And the music really added that whoever it was banging on the piano.
I did.
That was
I was
cool.
just gonna bring that up. Actually, I did dig the big kiss finale at the piano. Where he's bringing the what was it, a mic stand or something into the top of the piano. I did dig that. I could see all kinds of influence.
They probably recorded that and used that sound during the chase scene.
Yeah,
but there was some points to this film that made it credible. So this is the kind of film that someone should take and say, look, it's 25 years later. This film deserves a remake.
Right.
So I think they did good by picking this film to do a remake.
Well, I'm trying to put myself back in a time warp and actually kind of go back to the times when this was actually released, and I could honestly see where this would have been a lot more effective in that time frame than it is today.
Well, and also this was probably a second bill at a drive-in.
Yeah, well,
when half the audience is gone because they all wanted to come see Jaws.
Right, right. Well. The honest truth is that I think films like this, they, especially with today's audiences, they're not going to stick. I mean, somebody's going to rent this and go, "What were they thinking?"
And so that's why this kind of film deserves a remake.
Well, I agree.
So
I agree. If the remake is done right,
and we'll discuss
which
It's a
we will
different
discuss.
debate.
As you can tell by what I said, we will definitely discuss.
Yes.
But, like I said, I think that I speak for a lot of people in the 20 to 30-year-old category, which basically says, hey, the pacing of this thing is going to bore you to death. There is a good story there if you can get to it.
And a couple good scenes.
Between the afros, the bell-bottoms, and the
really funky curtains.
Yeah.
I love those curtains,
The curtains
man.
were cool, actually, man. I put those up,
But, my wife really loved the sweater. This one girl
and
has
the
a
nightgown.
black. Yeah.
She was shopping. See that the movie is not good
when you're
not compelling.
When you've got two guys discussing the clothes
when
and
we're
the
looking
decor.
at, I mean, we were trying to find anything we could to entertain ourselves. Okay, so
you got to hear the sweater. She's wearing this black sweater with these two like white stitched hands, almost like covering her breasts.
What did your wife call that?
The two boob sweater.
The boobies holding the sweater or something like
holding
that.
boob sweater.
I don't know what it was, but
the 70s were fun, folks. Come on.
We watched this movie on the new DVD release, which just came out in 2006. Actually, just a week ago, December of 2006.
John Saxon even narrates a behind-the-scenes making of.
And I have to say that the 16:9 transfer, it's a 185-1. It looks decent enough. I mean, you're talking about a film from 1974. They obviously didn't go back and digitally remaster everything, but it's definitely serviceable.
And it probably didn't have the highest quality film stock in the first place.
No, there's a lot of grain there and pops and whatnot, but it's definitely something that's watchable.
It's a Canadian film, eh?
Yeah, but it was remastered in 5.1.
Yeah. The sound,
which was interesting.
It was kind of funny. I could really hear the difference in sounds between if someone would walk in through a door, the door would be crystal clear and really bright and crisp, and then they'd start talking, and then it would get that muted kind of sound.
That's called
again,
selective remastering.
Yeah.
That's what that is when something sounds really bad on the original tape, they just fix that. I think they were trying to preserve the original feel of the dialogue and everything. So
but when that phone would ring, it would just cut right through everything.
Yeah,
it was so bright.
Good and loud. We watched this on a 6.1 system, and I do have to say there's a couple scenes that really throw the sound around the room.
Yeah.
Not just the phone, but there was a couple like door scenes,
or the fireplace crackling.
Yeah, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
This is a very dialogue-driven movie, and it's nice to have that little break.
Yeah.
You laugh when I say that dialogue-driven movie.
It's only a little bit of running around in like the last 5 minutes of it.
Yeah, it can definitely wear on you. So it's nice to have a little bit of a break with something cool kind of floating around your head there. But I mean, the DVD itself, for those who like this sort of flick, man, it's definitely serviceable. I mean, it's not going to show off your home theater, but you're going to be happy with it.
Yeah, and like I said, this is a historical perspective kind of film. You got to put yourself in the frame of mind of things were a lot slower back then.
Yeah,
but I bet it really did. I bet some of those scenes really did freak some of those people out.
Well,
there,
I dug the when the killer was standing up above Margot Kidder when she was in bed asleep, and they showed the light on one of his eyes. Okay, as he's holding the unicorn pick.
Oh yeah,
up
the unicorn.
He's about to do the deed, and I got to say the eye scene was kind of cool. Man. He definitely looked like what the cover should have been or something.
Yeah.
The big eye.
Yeah, the cover of the VHS that I had 15 years ago or whatever was the girl in the rocking chair with the bag over her head and a Christmas wreath around it.
Right.
So,
your wife brought up an interesting point too. Why don't you just poke a hole through the bag, man?
Yeah, bite the bag or
What's
something.
What's up with that?
Why do so many people get suffocated with bags?
Unless they're 2 years old, I think we can figure out how to rip the bag or something.
Yeah. Well, usually bad guys, pin your arms or something, but bite the bag or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyways, all right.
I got to say, I'm going to give this movie a 2.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm going to give it a 2, number one, it's like I said, the pacing is so darn slow. But not only that, the acting isn't anything to set the world on fire. There's a lot of things in the story you're going to go, huh?
Yeah.
What? And some of it's even comical, which I think I gave it 2 stars because there's a little bit of comedy.
Yeah, the comedy was pretty funny.
Yeah,
the few little breaks of comedy.
I didn't realize, it's a little off the subject, but I did not realize that's how you traced a phone call back in 1974, was to run around the freaking building until you found the right circuit.
Yep.
Unbelievable, man. Wow. That was a trip.
Times have changed.
A little bit.
Yeah. Imagine, 8 8 girls living in one house with only one telephone.
Hey, man, I'm there. Oh, no, wait. No.
All right, yeah, I agree with you, Jeff. I was going to give it 1 star for the slow pacing and everything, but I'm going to give it another one because the final end scene was pretty intense. The laugh and the scream and the sound, the psycho guy, and a lot of the camera using the killer point of view, where you can really see where future directors borrowed from this film, learned from what this film did, and
right. And you're right. This is the type of movie that will do well, hopefully, and we're going to find that out soon.
As a remake.
With a remake, yeah, absolutely, and that will be hopefully a whole different story.
All right, he's Rowdy Jeff. I'm Michael Mandy. We'll see you next week at the Horror Debate.